Like I said, hello, it's me, Steve Job. The T is, of course, lowercase. That's not a mistake, I promise. Look at all you kids sitting in your little chairs. I'm here to talk to you all today about a very niche topic, something that's still... I want to work on that.
Fucking Windows 98.
I'm going to talk to you about a very niche topic, something that hasn't been well researched, and it still needs room to grow, and I just found out about it. It's called science. This might sound a little daunting, a little scary, I know, but trust me, it's not so bad. I'm here to let all of you know that anyone can science. Science is an impartial mistress just waiting desperately to be played with. And you kids can get in on the action too. So let's see. Oh, one thing you all should know about science is that it's a never-ending journey of discovery. There's a saying among us scientists that goes a little bit like this. The more you do know, the more you don't do know. I don't know what that means, which does mean I do know a lot. You know, we're never just going to stop one day and say, oh, well, that's all the science guys, we did it, you can go home now. That's not how it works. There's a lot of work to do. So let's see. I suppose I should give a little bit of background. After I graduated, well, rather, let me back up a little bit. I'm going to backpedal. After my 5th year of high school, I decided, I told myself, I don't really feel like retaking the 11th grade. So I dropped out. But after my parents graduated me from their house, they told me to never speak to them again, I decided to dedicate my life solely to science. And ever since, I have chosen to remain celibate, because the Lord God Almighty knows that no head is better than this one. Okay, moving on. Just to prove a few chumps how much I know what I'm talking about, this is a picture of me shaking hands with highly esteemed Albert Einstein. Look at his face, he's thrilled. That's right. Here's another picture of me. Right there. Anyway, let's move forward. Okay, so I already talked about this, so I'm going to skip it. Okay, so one of the most glorious things about science is that if you ever have a question, you can look it up, and then you'll find the answer. For example, when I was very little, I used to wonder. I would wonder with the glimmering curiosity of a young lad how we ever made it to the moon. I would ask my father. And he would sit me down and tell me, shut up and go back to your room. Don't talk to me while I'm watching House Hunters. Well, Dad, after doing extensive research on my own, I learned that it was actually the Jews who staged the moon landing. That's when things started to make a little more sense. So before I move any further, I think we should all review the absolute basics of scientific thinking. Now, one of my role models, Isaac Newton, he invented something called the commandments of thermodynamics. They go a little bit like this. There's commandment number 1, hard work pays off. It sure does, America. That's followed by commandment number 2, what goes around comes around. And then there's commandment number 3, my personal favorite. You can never have too much bump in the trunk. And then I think there's a couple more. Commandment number 4, I'm a stupid dum-dum. And then finally, commandment number 5, I like teenage boys. Alright, well, Now that we're all up to speed, I hope you've written all of this down. It's very important. Let's move on to the mysteries, the greatest mysteries of the universe that we're still asking ourselves today. For example, why is there an ocean? Who put all that water there? It doesn't make any sense, because if you try to put a person in it, they will die. Secondly, it tastes bad, so there's no point in drinking it. And thirdly, the only way to get across is to drive a boat, and it's really inconvenient. So I'm not a big fan, and I can tell you guys aren't either. So, like, what's the big deal? How did this get here? Let's take a trip to the distant past and figure this shit out. This is satellite imagery of the Earth over 2,000 years ago. 2,000 years ago. Let me repeat that. Before year zero, before the calendar was invented, before anybody celebrated Christmas, this is what the Earth looks like. And if you've noticed, these images completely lack the color blue. Indicating the lack of water. Gotta make connections. So, like, what's the big deal? What's the explanation for this? Well, Noah was just a city boy, born and raised in southern Arkansas. And Noah liked to listen to a lot of Paul McCartney. And one day, Noah listened to the song Waterfalls so hard that water actually fell from the sky for the first time in history. It's phenomenal. And then it rained for 40 days and 40 nights nonstop. And the earth flooded and flooded, and millions lost their lives, millions drowned, thoughts and prayers, and the earth keeps flooding and flooding until it looks like it does today. Right? And that's, ladies and gentlemen, that's how we got our oceans. All right, moving on. Birds. Okay. These things are fucking insane. I'm not kidding when I say that. There's no reason for these to exist, yet they do. And it's very upsetting to me. I don't know if any of you have ever seen a bird before, but if you have, you've probably noticed that they possess this obscene ability to float in the gosh dang air. I don't get it. So, I've tried to come up with several theories that might explain this mysterious talent that they have. Could, for instance, birds be ghosts? Maybe birds evolved from airplanes. The only other mammal to master flight. Maybe there is some, I don't know, fucking some guy out there could be just holding all the birds on a string. Anything goes. So I threw this by some of my fellow scienticians, and they all made fun of me. So I decided to develop a more comprehensive theory that might explain this wacky scenario. So an important step to make when you're doing science or whatever is to ask questions. Relate this to other real-world phenomena. So let's ask, what else floats? Balloons. They do that. Not many people know actually how balloons float. I'll tell you what, it's actually because they contain, well, they're jam-packed with an element called helium. And you're probably asking, where does helium come from? The sun. Here's the sun's secret. Make helium through nuclear fusion, the process whereby you collide atomic nuclei at balls-hard speeds until they start spitting out fat elements like helium and shit. So where does this come into play? Well, birds, in order to fly, must contain helium. Okay? But they have to obtain the helium first. Where do they get it? They could, I don't know, they could take a trip, they could visit the sun or something. But that doesn't make any sense, right? That's stupid. That's nonsense. They don't do that. What I suspect birds actually do is they manufacture helium inside their little bird bodies through the process of nuclear fusion. This is brilliant, I know. Please hold your applause. Let's continue examining some of the other things about the universe that are impossible to understand. Oh, this is a picture of my mother. If you ever happen to see her, pass her by on the street, please tell her her makeup looks bad. It will ruin her day. Oh, okay, well, actually, I hate to cut it short, but that's good times don't last, right, guys? So, let's see. If, after the show, any of you would like to discuss anything remotely science-related with me over a bowl of weed, after that, please give me a poke. And lastly, remember this. Each and every one of you can be a Scientologist. I just want to say thank you. It was a pleasure to speak here at University of Wisconsin.